Hey there, my name is Jennifer Sands. If you know me, then you already know my story. If you don't know me, then I hope you'll listen for just 5 minutes. On this day, 20 years ago, my husband, Jim Sands, was working in his office in the World Trade Center on the 103rd floor of Tower 1 when the unthinkable happened. Terrorists used commercial jets as bombs to murder Jim and thousands of other innocent people. It's hard to believe that 20 years have gone by. Every news channel is showing footage of the burning towers, and I really don't want to see that. I choose to remember Jim for the way he lived, not the way he died. And Jim lived well. He loved spending time with his family. He loved scuba diving and underwater photography. He loved Broadway shows and Ben and Jerry's ice cream, Chunky Monkey. He loved New York Giants football, even when they lose. Isn't it amazing how often we assume with so much certainty that everyone in our life will always be here? We take our loved ones for granted. We forget the brevity of life, how quickly life can change or be gone in the blink of an eye. And if 9/11 isn't proof of that, then I don't know what is. After Jim was killed, I spent a lot of time asking why. Why did this happen? Why did God allow this to happen? And maybe you're struggling with a loss or a heartache in your life and you're asking why. And hey, that's a natural response. It's a valid question. Well, I've learned a lot of things since 9/11, and one of them is this: a broken heart is not healed by explanations. A broken heart is healed by the love and the grace of God. Before 9/11, I didn't think too much about God. My knowledge of him was superficial at best. I never read the Bible, had no interest in it. I didn't think I needed Jesus in my life, and quite frankly, I didn't want Jesus in my life. But a serious life crisis can bring us to a spiritual fork in the road. It can either make us turn away from God or it can draw us closer to him. And as I stood at that fork in the road 20 years ago, God used many different people to steer me in the right direction. Some of these people explained to me who Jesus is and what he's done for us. They gave me the bad news that we're all sinners and no one can enter the kingdom of heaven as a sinner. But then they gave me the good news that Jesus's death and resurrection provides the forgiveness for our sins, so that those of us who put our trust in him alone will have the promise of spending eternity in heaven with him. And then I started reading the Bible for the first time in my life, and boy, did I ever learn a lot. So to make a long story short, on 9/11, I was thrown into widowhood, but I found peace and healing and salvation by throwing myself at the feet of Jesus. There's a lot more to my story. If you want to know more, you can check out my website, which is jennifersands.com, or you can read my books for all the details. And speaking of books, in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, there's a story about Joseph. Maybe you know it. Joseph's brothers were very jealous of him, so they sold him into slavery. And then he spent years in prison, wrongly accused. But eventually, by God's providence, Joseph became second in command under Pharaoh in Egypt. Then years later, Joseph said something to his brothers. And if by chance any of the 9/11 terrorists ever watch this video, then what Joseph said to his brothers is what I say to you. You meant evil against me, but God used it for good in order to bring about this present result, the saving of many lives. You didn't win. You didn't win. God used a lot of people after 9/11 to show me his love and his compassion, and maybe you were one of them. If you ever prayed for the 9/11 families, if you ever donated to one of the 9/11 relief funds, then God used you to help me through the most agonizing time of my life, and I thank you with all my heart. In those weeks and months after 9/11, we truly were the United States of America. We were united in grief. We were united in patriotism. We were united in caring for each other. Whatever differences we had just kind of evaporated. Let's do that again now, please. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers. Stay safe and be blessed.